Hey, welcome to 100 Mile Drive. In this video, I want to talk about the accident that unfortunately happened with my BMW X3 M40i.
I don't see anything, a little bit on your car. My car
Yeah, I
is
understand, but we have to exchange insurance.
How bad it was, and most importantly about the insurance companies, like what changed in the last decade. Now, I personally have Geico, and what I learned is that in the last decade, they use something called LKQ parts that I'm gonna talk about. And finally, I'll discuss the depreciation of this vehicle and whether I'm keeping it after lease or not. So luckily, it was just a minor fender bender kind of accident where I was struck from the passenger side when I was going for the left turn. Another BMW decided to come into that same left turn the last moment, and she struck me from this passenger side right into the rim. So basically, from the initial estimate when I took it to the body shop, this rim had to be replaced. The tire was scraped, so it had to be replaced as well. This trim piece over the fender had to be replaced. Luckily, fender was untouched. And finally, this bumper had to be replaced, right? It had a lot of scratches here, a big hole in here, so this had to be replaced, and as well as my PPF that was on the bumper. So my initial estimate was around $5,500, and the other party wanted to settle it with cash, but long story short, we decided to go through insurance. And guess what? When Geico adjuster came out, he basically gave his estimate as around $1,800. That's it. And this is where LKQ parts come into the picture. Let me explain. So LKQ means like, kind, and quality. Well, in the last decade, basically the repair costs have risen from 40 to 80%, at least that's what they say. And insurance companies found another way to cover those costs, and that means they will basically try to repair the part instead of replacing it. So they'll do everything they can to apply the repair, and in case if they fail, then they'll replace it with an aftermarket part, right? Not OEM part. And in case if you do want OEM part, like in my case, well, you have to come up with the difference from your own pocket. Now, as per Geico's estimate, here's what they wanted to do. Now, this rim, they said they were gonna send it to something called Wheels of America. They'll try to repair those, scratches and major kind of dents in the rim. In the event they would not be able to do so, they will replace this rim with another used rim that looks like new. Now, in case of the tire, they basically would not give you a new tire. They measured the thread on this tire, and they said that we will give you 75% back of this tire, right? And the thing is, you cannot buy a used tire, right, to match the cost because it's a liability issue. So in this case, you basically have to come up 25% from your pocket, and basically they'll give you a brand new tire. And as far as the bumper, same thing. They said we will, fix the scratches, which is fine, but the hole that the bumper had, they said we will fill in the hole and then we'll basically repair it and make it look like new. And this was such a disappointing news to me. And this is exactly why you need to have a reputable body shop who will be on your side and help you to do the following. All right, now let's discuss what actually happened, right? As far as the rim, basically body shop convinced that this rim could not be repaired, and Geico agreed to give us another rim, but this is not a brand new rim. This is what LKQ part is, like new in quality. So essentially it's a rim that has no scratches. I kind of looked through it. It's exactly the same rim that I had, but no scratches, so it's fine. Now, as far as the tire, basically I got the credit for the tire, and I'll explain you what I did with that. The trim piece was replaced. They didn't repair it, they replaced it, so they agreed easily on that. Now the bumper is where all the fight kind of happened, right? So Geico did not want to replace this bumper, but as the body shop was removing the bumper, they basically found some inconsistencies with the bumper, right, internally, because there's a lot of components on the inside, and they finally convinced Geico to replace this bumper. And guess what? They wanted to replace it with an aftermarket bumper, which was around $1,000, and the OEM bumper that you see right here is $1,500. So I told them, hey, you know what? Inspect the tire. If tire is good, let's take a credit from the tire, add it to the bumper, and then I'll pay the difference. And instead, the body shop was able to negotiate with BMW to lower the cost of the bumper a little bit so that I didn't have to pay anything extra. So luckily everything worked out really well and I got my car back, but what did change is that there's a lot more hustle now, right? Where in the past I did have 2 minor accidents as well, all not at fault, but it was very easy. Adjuster came out, just, uh, basically gave me an estimate, and it was all brand new parts where you just literally drop off your car, get your rental, and then pick up your car, and it looks pretty much exactly the same. Where now you get your estimate and you literally have to basically fight for every part in the estimate, because most of it they're going to try to repair instead of replacing it. And even if they decide to replace, they're going to try to use aftermarket parts. So guys, if you're going through this, don't just settle with any of your insurance company. Try to fight with them, try to get OEM part approved as much as you can. It does work, and make sure you have a reputable body shop that will be on your side. Now let's talk about a little bit about the depreciation on this vehicle. Now here's an interesting thing about the depreciation on this vehicle, right? So if you have a minor accident, even a tiny one like I had in this car, the car will lose easily $1,000 to $3,000 in its value. So meaning if I were to be able to try and trade this car in, it would be around $2,000 to $3,000 less than what it originally kind of valued at, right? But this car has only about 2 months left, and like I said, I'm debating on returning it. But when I looked it up, it'll only have about around $36,000 left as far as the loan balance, and I could buy it out, right? But similar cars are around $44,000 to $47,000. So there's definitely some equity in this vehicle, even with the accident. But the kicker is that BMW structures their lease in such a way that you can only return the car back to BMW. Like I cannot take this to Lexus, I cannot take it to CarMax, at least from what I've been told. And you can only return it to BMW or buy it out and maybe, you know, sell it later. But if I do buy it out, I have to pay tax on it. So I'm gonna like spend another $4,000 in taxes alone. So I'm gonna see if I can take out some money out of this without buying it. And I'll see if I make a video on that. So stay tuned on that. So there you have it, guys. This is the video I wanted to make on today. Another thing I wanted to add to this, make sure you have some kind of dash cam, or if you have BMW Drive Recorder app, it's super helpful.
In this quick video, I want to show you how in most modern BMWs, you no longer need to install this stupid dash recorder where you attach it here and then have a wire hanging into your charge port, or you need to have it professionally installed. Instead, you can just install an app directly into your BMW and control all the settings in the menu. Let me show it to you.
While it didn't automatically engage, I was able to press the record button and it still recorded the whole accident, which I was able to show as a proof, and it made the whole claim so much easier. If you don't have BMW or Drive Recorder app, make sure you use some kind of a dash cam, because it's super helpful in case of accidents. And finally, let me know if you had any accidents. What is your experience with insurance company? I would like to hear them, and I'll talk to you next time.